Hello again to all of our YouTube friends. Since Veterans Day was yesterday, we'd like to sincerely thank all of our veterans, past and present, for their selfless service to our great nation. We never want to forget to express our gratitude to first responders and medical personnel as well. Again, thank you, one and all, for all that you did or are doing for the rest of us. We sincerely appreciate all of the sacrifices that you and your families have made on everyone's behalf. You'll remember that last Sunday we featured our new friends, Mike and Vanessa Burns' really cool 1979 International Scout II. If you missed it, go back and watch it, or watch it again and get inspired once more. On Thursdays, we feature the brief history of the feature car from the previous Sunday, and today's no different. The Scout and the International Harvester Company have a fascinating history, and we hope you'll enjoy this video and learn something new about one of America's oldest independent automakers. Now, let's go for a ride. The International Harvester Company, or IHC, was one of the first American manufacturers of agricultural equipment, automobiles, light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks, lawn and garden products, household equipment, and much more. Its brands included McCormick, Deering, and later McCormick Deering, as well as International. The company was perhaps best known for their Scout and Travelall vehicle nameplates. Their roots were derived from a 1902 merger between the McCormick Harvest Machine Company and the Deering Harvester Company. Company officials felt International would better reflect their new plans for eventual worldwide distribution of all of their various products. They remained a viable corporation until 1985. Although originally known for their high-quality farm equipment, IHC produced various home appliances for farmers and non-farmers as well. Among their first main products, all were refrigeration-related items such as air conditioners, refrigerators, freezers, and both of residential and commercial grade qualities. IHC had an entire refrigeration division of its own for a time, as did other vehicle manufacturers. American Motors, previously known as Nash Kelvinator, had Kelvinator. Chrysler had AirTemp. Crosley had Crosley. Ford had Philco. General Motors had Frigidaire. And Studebaker had the Franklin Appliance Company. IHC would soon branch out into the growing and lucrative residential lawn and garden business in 1961 with its new line of Cub Cadet equipment, which included riding and walk-behind lawnmowers, tree care equipment, and snowblowers. Also produced were compost shredders, rotary tillers, cadet garden tractors, and power washers, as well as various implements that could easily be installed on their products to make outside chores easier. The Cub Cadet line was sold to MTD Products in 1981 and are still being manufactured today. Following years of financial and economic decline, International began selling off its various equipment divisions, starting with the sale of its construction division to Dresser Industries in 1982. In November of 1984, IHC finalized a deal with Tenneco to sell the entire farm equipment division to its subsidiary, Case Corporation, and the brand has successfully continued to this day as Case IH. Since that last sell-off, International solely became an exclusive heavy truck and engine manufacturer and reorganized as Navistar International in 1986. However, throughout its entire existence and all of its mergers and sales of its various divisions, IHC was always headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. Obviously, they never had all of the nearly limitless resources that the other big three manufacturers had, but they did build some durable and rugged vehicles during their long tenure, producing pickups from the Model A auto wagon in 1907 all the way to the last ones built. The Travelall models lasted 4 generations beginning in 1953. They were among the first models offering buyers what we now call an SUV. Back then, it was advertised as a large station wagon. As International began to withdraw from light truck sales, both the Travelall and the pickup trucks were discontinued after the 1975 model year, even though they had legions of loyal customers. Along with these two victims of the 70s oil embargoes and corporate average fuel economy numbers, the ubiquitous medium-duty Metro delivery van would also see its last one roll off the assembly line that year. But the subject of this week's history lesson is a 1979 Scout II. So let's look at how the Scout models evolved from their introduction in 1960 to their demise in 1980. Because of time limitations, here's a chart that lists all of the basic models as well as some sub-series of some of them. Consult online resources for more specific information. The entire Scout II lineup is most easily identified by different front grills. The 1971 and 72 Scout IIs shared the same grill. The 1973 grills were a one-year only design, and the 1974 and 75 grills were similar to the 73 design with the addition of a vertical trim bar overlay. The 1975 had chrome and black square trim rings around the headlights. The 1976 models had the same headlight trim rings as 75 and a chrome center grille section of 15 horizontal bars split into 3 equal sections that would be used this year only. The 1977 through 79 Scout II grills would be changed only slightly, and in 1980, the final year of production for the Scout II, the grill had very distinctive appointments, available with either black or silver highlights, and now was a one-piece design with square headlamps and made of high-impact ABS plastic. Either color option had chrome trim around the headlights and an international name located on the left side. Of special note are the Terra and Traveler models, which were produced from 1976 to 1980. Both had fiberglass tops. A half top was seen for the Terra, or a full top with a hatchback-type liftgate on the Traveler. Most notably different, these models were extended by 18 inches from the standard Scout in the region between the door and the front of the rear wheel well. Another interesting side note is a pair of modified Scout IIs were produced by Swiss luxury automaker Monteverdi. This company used basic Scout IIs to produce innovative and unique off-road station wagons. There were 2 distinct models, the Safari and the Sahara. Both were produced in the late 1970s. How many were built is unknown. By 1979, IHC's light truck business was on the decline. The board of directors had finally realized that bringing the Scout brand back to health was going to take more than some laterally promoted commercial truck or agricultural sales guys. They needed someone familiar with the ever-changing markets and how to supply vehicles that met that demand and were still profitable for the company. Finally, the board hired Jim Bostic, who had been a sales exec with AMC. With Bostic at the helm, soon there were some marked changes in the way things got done, and by the summer of 1979, the Scout Division, later called the Sports Utility Division, had been created, and it gave them a little more autonomy as a group. It proved to be too little, too late, but his new strategies brought the collector car community some awesome, limited production models the last 2 years of the Scout II's production. Among the many things Bostic innovated was to push for the increase of new dealerships and to expand current locations to finally bring Scouts onto Main Street and not just at truck or ag dealers. In the end, that never happened. It takes more time than that to get new dealers recruited and to get current ones to agree to expand. After all, 1979 was a bad year for the country's economy, so businesses were not anxious to lay out more capital. He did know, though, that all of the current dealers would need exciting products that would sell well, so he pushed the Scout line upmarket from where it had previously been. Bostic knew the Scout 2s would never be high-volume sellers, so it became imperative to increase the profit margin per vehicle sold by producing fewer low-end basic Scouts and selling more high-end or sporty rigs. One of those concepts evolved into a collaboration with Hurst Industries for a sporty new Scout. Because Bostic was heavily involved with Hurst in the creation of some of the most successful AMC Hurst collaborations from a decade earlier, like the SC Rambler and the Rebel Machine, he used his well-placed connections to help create what became known as the Hurst Shawnee Scout. Only 3 were ever built, but Bostic had also innovated many other upscale and limited edition Scout 2s for a market that was increasingly demanding four-wheel drives and sport utility vehicles. In 1979, IHC offered the Scout 2 in only 7 colors, although there is a notation in the one factory color brochure I found that states that other available international colors and even some custom colors could be optioned for extra cost, but no mention is made as to the final price. They also offered many different accent stripe motifs in various colors that would instantly elevate its recipient Scouts to another level of cool and desirable. In November of 1979, after International's CEO Archie McCardle decided to take on the United Auto Workers to reduce overall operating costs, union members retaliated and voted to strike, which lasted until late April of 1980. During that period, the production line stopped completely, as did the majority of new product development. The decision to end the Scouts 2 production was announced on May 13th, and production was only temporarily continued to fill dealer back orders. The last Scout rolled out of the Fort Wayne, Indiana assembly plant on October 21, 1980, with little fanfare. It was truly the end of an era. A few new models, essentially fully developed and planned for 1981, were immediately canceled at that point. International Harvester abandoned sales of passenger vehicles in 1980 to concentrate solely on their commercial trucks and school buses. Ultimately, the Scout and light truck parts business was sold to Scout Light Line Distributors Incorporated in 1991. Which Scout or Scout 2 would you like to have? Tell me in the comments section. Give this video a thumbs up and hit the free subscribe button if you haven't done so already. You don't want to miss even one episode. My wife Dana and I love bringing you these twice weekly videos and bring you interesting stories of cool cars and their noteworthy owners. We've enjoyed doing them and will continue to bring them your way. They can only be found right here by searching the If This Car Could Talk link. In the next few weeks, we're bringing you a Pontiac Can-Am, a Shelby GT500, and even a special slot car that wins races every time it's on the track. Next Sunday, we're bringing you a stunning, low-mileage 1989 Camaro IROC Z. And see you then, and remember, stay safe out there.